everyone, I'm your host Pensyfan19 and welcome to the April 2022 Pensyfan Periodical. This is a monthly news series which covers most of the major railroading headlines from around the world, as well as my opinions on them. We have a lot of articles to go over today, so with that in mind, let's get rolling. First off, might as well start with the many developments in regards to Amtrak. And trust me, a lot has been going on for them throughout the month. Ever since releasing their Connexus map just over a year ago, the National Passenger Railroad has made great progress with proposing many of the routes listed on the map, particularly in the Northeast. Multiple agencies and approvals have been passed for restoration of service on lines that haven't seen passenger trains in decades, although the first new line to enter service isn't explicitly stated on the Connexus map, as the Berkshire Flyer will start its Friday-only summer service on July 8th, one stop past Albany to Pittsfield, Massachusetts, on existing trackage. Some of these lines were lucky enough to see test trains running on them, as Amtrak utilized the Kansas City Southern Business train for a test run between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. Very interesting choice for Amtrak to utilize OCS equipment from a freight railroad instead of using their own passenger stock or business cars, as well as F9s instead of their newly released ALC 42s in the Phase 7 livery. But not everything has been smooth sailing for the railroad, as the Gulf Coast route from New Orleans to Mobile is still being deliberated with the STB against CSX and NS, who claim that the addition of passenger service would disrupt a busy freight line. Again, I feel this could very easily be solved by adding a second track in single-tracked regions on the line, once CSX gives something less than a $2 billion price tag for improving the line. Yet, Amtrak took a very creative approach to this claim, as they started a Twitch stream along the very corridor to show how busy it really is, thus being the first instance of an American railroad to utilize Twitch for rail freighting purposes and to directly diss another Class 1. In the meantime, as epic of a roast this may be, the freight railroads can easily come back from this by saying counterpoint, "You have no board members." No, seriously, Amtrak has no active board members as of right now. All of their terms expired on April 20th and Biden forgot to appoint replacements. Technically, all of the current Amtrak board members can continue to serve their positions until appointments are made at a later date, but replacing these positions are likely a low priority for the US government at the moment in light of more important appointments. Oh look, they just made some appointments now. Better late than never, I suppose. But in the meantime, I think this kind of shows how Amtrak may be considered a low priority for government recognition, since it has to be considered with countless other government-owned organizations for funding. Which leads me right to our next topic. Around the same time when Amtrak released their 5-year plan and proposal for FY 2023, pretty much confirmed replacing the ACS 64 by selling them as surplus, Septa also released their equivalent document asking for funding and outlining all of their rail-related plans for the future. But unlike many plans of years past, this document includes a brand new map of possible regional railroad extensions, which includes all of their former diesel lines, with service to Newton, Westchester, and even Newark, New Jersey. As fantastic as this map is, they still forgot to extend the Signwood branch to its original terminus of Norristown. Come on, guys, as well as a few other branches that connect the outskirts of the system to other lines, such as the Octaro branch from Wabo to Perryville, Maryland, and the Stony Creek branch from Norristown to Lansdale, but these lines weren't part of the original Septa system. Also included in this map is added service on active Amtrak lines to Harrisburg and Maryland, which could just be increased Amtrak service or preferably extended Septa service to these destinations, as well as Reading and Allentown, two routes that are also listed on the Connexus map. There are even paragraphs under the inconveniently low-resolution photos that explain how Septa and state ownership of these routes would be better off with 3 times more frequency and more centralized funding than the federally owned Amtrak, which has been an ongoing debate among many rail fans in the region and beyond. This is also similar to the city of Cape Town proposing to take over commuter rail operations from a nationally owned Metrorail in South Africa only a few weeks after Septa released their plan, so this way a smaller and more centralized government can have control over its funding and operations. Basically, my stance on this topic and passenger rail in general is to have a local authority run passenger rail routes like this, so this way the state can focus on the rail authority in a more centralized budget and only focus on issues pertaining to the region, instead of giving the service to the federal government, who has to consider it with every other rail project in the nation, which has to compete for scarce funding against thousands of other government-owned agencies. Think of it this way. A group of teachers can review and grade coursework for a school's physics department in a much more efficient manner than having one teacher review coursework for the entire physics, chemistry, biology, and earth science departments. Anyways, after that very long double intro story, here is some interesting news. Bally's and KLM have created Air Rail to encourage people to take the train for short distances instead of flying. This is the kind of cooperation and understanding that America needs, since there are so many short-haul flights that run between once rail-dependent corridors throughout the nation that will be much better off with some form of passenger rail. Meanwhile, a high-speed rail world conference is to be held next year in Marrakech, Morocco, to showcase said benefits of passenger rail. Sunrail is to be extended to Disney World along with Brightline, while said animation company has just released poster art for the Disney Plus exclusive Cars spin-off series called Cars on the Road. Coaster F40s are being stored in Anaheim, California with an unknown fate, while one of their replacements has been spotted both in front of a cab car and an F125 while going back and forth to Los Angeles for wheel maintenance. Leo Express has cancelled their purchase of CRRC Sirius CMUs after about 2 years of testing. Sarah Palin is running against Santa Claus for U.S. Congressional Representative of Alaska. The NSF SD9 number 1550 has been donated to the Lake Superior Railway Museum. CSX has repainted C30-7 number 7067 into a family line system livery as it was donated to Kentucky Steam. Western Pacific 165 has been restored, thus being the only Western Pacific steam locomotive currently in operation. And Union Pacific has donated a large amount of their collection to Railroading Heritage of Midwest America. This donation includes Challenger 3985, DD840X 6936, and 5500 class 5511, as well as a number of other passenger cars which will all be restored at their newly acquired Silvis, Illinois shops. This is fantastic news for rail fans who wanted to see the mighty Challenger run again, as this is a rare occurrence of a Class 1 railroad giving up their own steam locomotives, albeit none of which were used by a Class 1 in years. UP stated that this was done so they could focus on their efforts of FEF3 Class 844 and Big Boy 4014, but plans for the latter engine aren't so great as its northwest tour has been postponed due to track congestion, which again I say, add another track. But of course, in terms of railway preservation, this segment wouldn't be complete without the return of the mighty Reading Rambler, which is none other than Reading T1 class number 2102. After a 6-year restoration process, 2102 returns to steam with numerous test runs on the Reading and Northern, proving it still has decades worth of strength left, and more than enough power to pull already sold out excursion runs. To test this claim, the engine even pulled 50 empty hopper cars in the rain with ease, thus showing the mighty engine is more than ready for any task it's given for years to come, in its new but traditional black and yellow Reading and Northern livery. Now here's the follow-up news section for articles covering stories from previous episodes. CSX has now officially acquired Pan Am Railways as the STB just approved it, with a new subsidiary to operate Pan Am Southern. LNER Union of South Africa is to become a static display at the Bury Transport Museum. An official trailer has been released for the Railway Children Return. Hornby has released a model of Taw Valley painted in its purple Jubilee livery, while Train World has released a historically inaccurate blue and yellow LARR livery on a historically inaccurate locomotive. The first fast traffic X80 train set has arrived in Sweden. The Dyalla Centralia Railroad could be restored soon. And another British Rail Class 230 has arrived in the US for further testing for pop-up metro on the East Broad Top. In terms of stations, construction has started for Perth Amboy, New Jersey, while designs have been released for Harvey, Illinois and Mimic, Ontario. And congratulations to the Cole Highway MRT station on the Singapore Metro for being a featured article on Wikipedia for April 20th. In other news, TX Logistic is thanking shippers for choosing the Greenway by using rail transport, which is also supported by Metrolink using vegetable oil to power trains instead of traditional oil. MTPC is to showcase the strength of zero-emission engines as it ordered a 6,000 horsepower electric locomotive. OBB has ordered Stadler bi-level EMUs, while Victoria has ordered electric Alstom LRVs. 2050 Lab has released designs of the Tramformer. STA will be ordering Alstom Coradia Streams instead of a Martyr Talents. Stadler Polaris EMUs have arrived on Swiss name that I won't try to pronounce railway, while Transend, CJ, and TPC have all acquired narrow gauge Stadler EMUs. The Bala Lake Railway will be starting their expansion towards the center of the town soon, while the Edaville Railway is for sale. Elon Musk has bought Twitter. C2C has ordered Bombardier Class 720s. GBRF has placed orders for the Class 99... No, not that Class 99. There you go. This one's based on a Stadler Eurodual instead of the top system for all ferries. the same Euro duel that was just purchased by IGE Bond in Germany. In the meantime, Class 55 on GBRF has been painted with the Ukrainian flag due to the same current events that caused VR to close all rail traffic with Russian railways. Go Ahead has stated they will cease international expansion, while Frontrunner has retired their Comet 1 cars. LNER Mark IV coaches have been donated to Gloucestershire's Fire Service College. Romania is to study high-speed rail service while improving their own infrastructure. And Ouigo Classique has started service with classic SNCF electrics and coaches, providing low-cost express service between major French cities. And happy 30th anniversary to Renfe Ave with their commemorative HST, and happy 50th anniversary to S-Bomb with their commemorative paint scheme. After all that, it is now time for this month's Meme of the Month. This month's Meme of the Month is Model Train Layout Lore. And now, after a very tough decision for the title, the top story of the April 2022 Pensyfan periodical is Go Transit selects ON Express to electrify the commuter rail network. Not to be confused with Ontario Northland, who's currently refurbishing their Bombardier bi-level coaches and cab cars while restoring their own passenger service from Toronto to Timmins, Ontario. A group of international railways and construction companies have won a bid to electrify over 300 kilometers of Go Transit's rail network as part of the On-Corridor Works project, or Encore, thus being one of the largest rail electrification projects in North America. This group, consisting of Alstom, AECON, DB International, and FCC, has been selected to not only put up wires along almost all of the commuter rail system, but they have also been tasked with a variety of other infrastructure improvements, including station renovations, increased frequencies, and grade separations. While this announcement of a contract being given to a construction company may be considered a small step in the grand scheme of things, what the contract entails is even more interesting, such as a plan utilizing ERTMS instead of the existing PTC or ETC, and more importantly, with also being provided to construct brand new electric locomotives for the service. Although it is currently unknown exactly what model Alstom will be providing Go Transit at this time, many are speculating that Alstom would utilize recently acquired Bombardier designs by constructing ALP-45s. If this is the case, then this would be a great opportunity to acquire the possibly surplus XL ALP-45s in nearby Montreal, or maybe even the MR-90s as extra locomotives and multiple units respectively. And of course, the soon-to-be surplus ACS-64s from Amtrak in the coming years. Considering the recent electrification of Caltrain in San Francisco, in addition to rising oil prices, the recognition of this project could be the start of a renewed interest in mainline electrification by utilizing a long-discussed form of alternative energy for everyday use for passenger and possibly freight service, so the impact of Go Transit's massive electrification on other railroads will certainly be something to look out for. All of this and more makes the future of this project very encouraging, as the release of these details make Encore interesting for rail fans and commuters alike, as it changes the landscape of North American railroading. Thank you everyone for watching this month's episode of the Pensyfan periodical. There have been a lot of rail news headlines for the month, and it will be very interesting to see what the future has in store for all of these articles. Thank you again for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Have a good day.